Okay, Sharon, this is your first lesson. It's November 25th, 2022. Really an athletic swing. We like it. I can see why you're 16. I think you're losing strokes in putting because the swing is pretty good. So let me draw some lines, and you'll have this on the recording. So the biggest line, the whole thing's driven around from this angle, is swing plane. Okay, so it's a plane that's set defined by the shaft angle at address, and the idea is that I could draw a million lines, and the swing plane is just parallel these lines. It doesn't have to be on one of these yellow lines or the other. It just has to be parallel. And anytime your club, the shaft, gets off that, being parallel to that line, that's off plane, and it needs a compensating move to put it back on plane. And the more times we get off of plane, the more inconsistent our strike will be, because it means if one more time I'm off plane, I get it back on plane, and you can't get it exactly the same way every time. So okay, so that's the number one line. So again, I can draw 100 of these lines. Okay, so the next line, which at this point isn't too important for you, but it is for me. And this is hand path. And then I'm guessing what here is what we try to do is measure any head movement. Okay, and then what we also like is a backward. Okay, so now let's just play this thing through slow motion. I like the setup. Look, the hands aren't quite under the shoulders, but close enough. I like the fact that your eye line is up here. That's really good. Get your chin out of the way. Good flex in your knees, and so that's really good posture. We like that. The grip is good. Your left hand is a little bit strong, so your V's aren't quite lined up. We want to get those V's lined up this way. This one's kind of over, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you want pinchers like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you do that, then this V is really well defined.
Okay.
And they should point to that right shoulder. Okay, so it's no big deal, but we'll talk about it later, but it's not causing any great trauma. It's just your wrists aren't quite working together. Okay, so here's the swing. Slow motion. Okay. Love the turn through. The whole thing is really athletic, and you'll see. And I believe that when everything's lined up, you can hit the ball as well as anybody. I think that there's some extra movements in here that are causing inconsistency. Now, what we do is we don't back up the truck and start over, plug in somebody else's swing. We keep your swing and we get rid of the unneeded movements. So we don't add anything to your swing, we remove the unneeded movements and put you in a bad position. Okay, so now we go through step by step. You've probably been through this before. So position one is addressed. This is really good. This is really good. See how the shaft is parallel to your toe line? As a matter of fact, it's over the toe line. The toe of the club is near up, which is really good. That's unbelievably good. And the advantage, look, it's basically all on plane. Okay, so then what happens is, see how it's parallel to those yellow lines? It's perfect. Okay. You see how it's getting away from parallel?
Yeah.
Okay. And you get it across the line at the top.
Almost like lifting it at that point.
Yeah. Okay. So this point, at this point, this is called across the line. Now, this is perfect. See how it's parallel to my toe line? If I get it parallel to the ground, it's parallel to my toe line. I don't get it quite there, so it should be pointed out here. When it's this way, then your first move down is the shaft goes here. In reality, the shaft should be pointed at the ball.
Okay.
That keeps it on plane. And here's the reason why it's this way. If you're out here like this, if you get that elbow in where it should be, look where that's perfect.
Yeah.
So you got the flying elbow. Now you'll see some pros with a flying elbow, but here's the problem is if they have a flying elbow like Nicholas did, what they do is they start their lower body fast, nothing with their hands, and look, that shallows it out. No amateur starts their lower body early.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, this is why it's causing inconsistency. Now, here's the deal. As you come down, look, so this is called steep. Now, here's the problem. And now, don't think you're special here with this fault. 95% of us have that fault.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I struggled with it forever. Now here's the problem with one of the many problems with Steve. It defines your whole swing, because if I come in steep and I don't do anything special, I'm going to stick a fork in the ground and foot behind the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. So after you do that enough, you go jump your head out of the way, and then it's lift and flip.
Yeah.
So when it's steep, it's going to be fat. It's going to go left on you.
Okay.
So you'll have a lot of balls here. If I don't shallow this thing out, try to save it like that, it's going to go left.
Okay.
And what that does is it forces you not to clear your hips, because if I come in here and clear my hips, look, I'm going to go left and more left.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you don't clear your hips, because you don't want to. It's just going to come around and end up behind you.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens is you kind of hang on and slice it back to the middle of the fairway. Okay. So you kind of end up getting a clip face open.
Yeah.
And it all starts from too steep.
Okay.
So what we want to do is just get it here and then swing through. See how it's all in plane?
Yeah. Okay.
As opposed to you're here, now you got magically, when you hit it right, you lay it down and then you flip it out.
Yeah.
If you don't lay it down, it's going left.
Okay.
And if you lay it down too much, it's going to go right.
Okay.
Okay, so this is causing all your inconsistency.
Okay.
Now, here's the great thing is, your head is perfect. It's really good. Okay. Your shoulder tilt isn't, this is interesting, your shoulder tilt isn't quite where it should be, but you compensated because your eye line was so high. It's such a good put. You can, even though your shoulder's this way, you can get that shoulder under your chin.
Okay.
If you had that shoulder tilt with a chin like this, you'd be, you couldn't get a backswing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not worried about that shoulder tilt.
Okay.
I'm just worried about this steepness. Yeah. Okay. So now, good athlete. Look. So you're at the red line. Now you've got to get parallel to the yellow line, which you do, in the middle of the swing. See, you see this angle here?
Yeah.
You took it from here when you're when you're like mid-swing. It's hard to do. Now look what happens. Okay, so now in this swing, you came down. See how that shaft is just about on your right forearm?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay.
But it took this move.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes if that arrow it only goes this far, you're going to be steep. If it goes that far, you're going to be too shallow. So and if you keep it right on plane, you have to worry about that compensating move being exactly right. We don't need that compensating.
Right.
Okay. So now also as you come down, you know, your hip pockets come away from the back wall. Look, this is great too. See, you exit on plane. That's really good. And see this tilt? It's really good. The problem is you've come away from the back wall, trying to save the thing. Okay. Okay, so you come in here.
Oh, so I'm pulling away from.
Yeah. See, yeah, and this is how the back wall works. Put this in pose. Show you. Okay, so we're back to recording. Let me show you Michelle Wee's swing here. Okay, matches you. That's all we need to do is get there.
Okay.
She goes further, but you know, like I said before I started recording again, is there's your top position. You're flying and it's back here.
Yeah.
And see, what makes it even tougher is to hit, this has to get here
Right.
and turn through. So this has to travel like 2 feet on you.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're starting to rotate here, so you're playing catch up.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
she has it here, then all of a sudden, bam, first move is here. She only has to move it like
Yeah.
8 inches.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're recording her swing, so it's up here at the top. She's going to go further than we can go, but she comes down and quickly she's on plane perfectly. And then, like I said, is her left hip pocket is against the back wall, and she exits like that. So, okay, so now, and so you're taking away with your, see that little takeaway
Yeah.
with the wrist. Should be shoulder
That's
driven,
all,
but
yeah.
but that's not causing any great trauma. Okay, so in this swing, your head goes down. Okay, so you get to this position. This is really good. So there's no sway.
Okay.
This is caved in nicely. It's pointed behind the ball. The shoulder is really a good turn. Okay. So we like that, even though it's a little flat, we can get by with it. Like this, you're kind of caved this way.
Okay.
And good guys, the upper part of my back leans away from them.
Okay.
So it's like this, you get kind of like this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of setting up for a reverse weight shift. So you
Okay.
want that shoulder over your right foot.
Okay.
And with that, see how my back is leaning
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
the ball,
Yeah.
from the target?
Yeah.
So then we can go through and weight shift this way,
Okay.
exaggerate them like this, you got to reverse out of it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So that, you know, that's fine. So that takeaway is fine. So the head moves forward and then it stays. And okay, so you got a bit of a cast in there. See, you got rid of the lag there already.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things I've been trying to work on. I
Yeah.
kind of release a little
Yeah.
too soon.
Okay. So, and then you get to this point where, you know, the left hip started here, and right now your belt buckle is about there, which is good. So you got a good weight shift, and then you just kind of stall out and watch. I like the way, see that right arm releasing through? That's really good.
Okay.
See how, and you end up with this tug of war thing? It's great. I mean, most people, you know, look like this early reset like that, especially if you come in steep, they go, ah! And then like this, you've got this thing going on.
Okay.
That, you know, that's hard to teach, and you got it naturally. So that's so good there. I'm telling you. But the thing is, you're coming in with such from a weak angle.